Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Coffee with Creatures, where we introduce you to some of the coolest animals in the world, all over a great cup of coffee. I'm Trey, one of the co-owners of Cold Blooded Caffeine, and I'm really excited to introduce you today to one of my favorite gecko species, the Leachianus gecko. Since this is Coffee with Creatures, I did want to touch a little bit about the coffee that I'm drinking today. We have our Rainforest Blend coffee, which is a blend of Colombian, Brazil, and Honduran. You can get it either whole bean or ground on our website, coldbloodedcaffeine.com. So if you're interested in that, it's really great. It's got a milk chocolatey base, almond berry notes with mild fruit acidity. Really great everyday drinker coffee. So you can check that out, as well as our full line of coffee on our website at coldbloodedcaffeine.com. Also, I have one of our new mugs here in front of us. I picked the Crested Gecko mug with the little hat and sweater because Crested Geckos and our friend the Leachianus geckos are actually really closely related. No speaking until empty mugs are available on our website as well. They come in a couple of different variety of reptiles, and they also have the Cold Blooded Caffeine logo on the back. So you can check that out, as well as our full selection of coffee, tea, and other merch on our website. So let me take one final sip of coffee, and then we'll get back to talking about the Leachianus gecko. Before we get into the natural history of the Leachianus gecko, I wanted to introduce you to Pebbles, my personal Leachianus gecko. Pebbles is almost 4 years old, and she is an adult female. She's on the smaller side of what you usually see like an adult female top out at, but she is an adult, and I've had her almost all of her life. I got her as a teeny tiny little baby, and she's really cool. She has never even once tried to bite. And she's just a lot of fun to interact with. One of the really interesting things about the Leachianus geckos is their skin. They're really soft skin, and they're just their feet, I don't even know how to describe it. They have little claws, but they don't hurt, but their feet and the way they feel is just really unlike anything else. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's really interesting. So if you have an opportunity to handle a Leachianus gecko, it's something that I definitely recommend that you do. And it's something that is a very unique experience. The Leachianus gecko is from the island chain of New Caledonia, which is home to 3 other commonly kept species of geckos: the crested gecko, the gargoyle gecko, and the Chihuahua gecko. But the Leachianus gecko is a little bit special. It is currently the largest known species of gecko on record, and they can get pretty substantial. Now this girl is a little bit small for an adult female, but some of the other like mainland locality geckos can get really impressively large. The islands of New Caledonia are full of lush tropical rainforests, so these guys like it warm and humid. And as you would expect, the Leachianus gecko is almost exclusively arboreal, spending most of their time in the trees. Leachies, as they're commonly called in the pet industry, are primarily nocturnal and will spend most of the days inside of hollowed out trees to hide from predators. In the wild, leachies enjoy an omnivorous diet consisting of insects, fruits, and nectar. Now let's talk a little bit about Leachianus geckos in captivity. Leachianus geckos can make tremendous pet geckos. If you have any experience at all with any of the other New Caledonian gecko species, this is going to be right up your alley. Their large size and their bold personalities make them incredibly enjoyable to interact with. But as always, there are a couple of considerations when you're thinking about owning a Leachie. First off, they're a really large gecko. So your standard 12 by 12 by 18 habitats are not going to work for these guys. You're going to need a pretty large arboreal enclosure to house even a single adult. Pebbles here spends most of her time out in the open, even during the daylight hours, so I would definitely recommend having UVB light available for these geckos. In addition, they're going to want a lot of vertical space and a lot of branches or cork bark to climb on. As with all the species of New Caledonian geckos, you're going to want to keep the temperatures on the warm side of room temperature, so something like 78 degrees or so would be a perfect temperature for these guys year-round. Of course, in captivity, we want to mimic their diet as much as possible. All of my New Caledonian geckos feed exclusively on Pangea gecko diet, but any of the commercially available gecko diets will work for these guys. Each individual gecko's taste preferences can vary, but I've had a lot of success with this fig and insect mix for my New Caledonian geckos in general, and especially for the leachies. Speaking with other people that own leachies, some people have had mixed success with feeding these guys insects in captivity. Mine just doesn't eat insects in captivity. You can throw crickets in there all you want to, or mealworms or superworms or any dubia or anything else. She just won't eat them. She wants the powdered diet. This video is not intended to be a husbandry video per se. We're not going to get into like the breeding aspects of things or, advanced keeping topics or things like that. But just know that the New Caledonian geckos in general, and especially this Leachianus gecko, can make a really great pet. But also know that there are some challenges with leachies that may not exist with some of the other New Caledonian geckos. For instance, leachies do have a little bit of a bad rap for being a little bit aggressive or nippy as opposed to some of your other New Caledonian geckos. Pebbles here has never bit me, has never even looked like she's wanted to bite me. So I can't comment on that personally, but I do have a couple of friends who have some that are not handleable geckos. You've seen me handle Pebbles here this entire video, and the only thing that she wants to do is she wants to climb, and she might jump every once in a while. But in terms of gecko handling, that's to be expected. She has shown no signs of aggression or anything like that. But you definitely do want to keep those things in mind if you're thinking about getting a leechie, especially for someone that's inexperienced with handling geckos. In addition, the leachies can be a little bit more difficult to breed. They're a little bit pickier about their partner selection. The females will pick an appropriate male, and so it's not just as simple as like crested geckos putting two animals together and they're going to breed. These guys are a little bit more challenging, which means that they come with a little bit steeper of a price tag. So they may not be the best entry-level gecko simply because they may be a little bit more expensive than like your crested gecko or even like a step up to your gargoyle gecko. While the Leachianus gecko is not currently endangered, habitat loss is a major concern for these guys. Having a limited range on a small island chain comes with inherent risks. Protecting the critical ecosystems of New Caledonia is crucial to ensure that the Leachianus gecko, as well as all of the other New Caledonian species, continue to thrive in the wild. That's where Cold Blooded Caffeine tries to step in and help, by donating 5% of our proceeds to wildlife conservation initiatives. Our mission is to safeguard the habitats of amazing species just like the Leachianus gecko so that we can continue to enjoy them in captivity, but also that they have a place to thrive in the wild. A fun fact about Leachianus geckos, as well as some of the other New Caledonian species, is that being fruit eaters in the wild, these guys are actually natural seed spreaders. So when they eat fruit and they go to the bathroom, they defecate out the seeds, which then grow into trees. So without these gecko species, trees in New Caledonia would lose a lot of their ability to disperse seeds over a wider area. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit more about the Leachianus gecko. As we finish our final cup for today, just remember to stay caffeinated, stay curious, and let each cup fuel your passion for these amazing animals. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more Coffee with Creature episodes. Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know what creature you would like for us to explore next. Don't forget to check out our website at coldbloodedcaffeine.com for our full line of coffee, tea, and merch. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you again very soon. Oh, would you quit? No, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that.